Here's the deal. I am on my way over to SavageCom.entertainment because I fell in love with Kimberly Michael and I want to follow all of her videos. By the way, she's me. I'm her. So follow me over there, SavageCom.entertainment. Look me up, In Love with Kimberly Michael, so you can follow me too. I'm a woman, so I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. Around screaming that they're healed from their trauma self, which is the whole point of the show is women and accountability and women and accountability. I can hold myself accountable. What's good, everybody? Welcome to In Love with Kimberly Michael. I am her, she is me. Big shout out to Jim Savage, like making moves to make sure that the show comes on tonight. This glass of wine is for you. I am doing the alkaline thing, so I'm not supposed to be drinking. But it's been a hell of a day at sea, sir. So I'm drinking tonight. Just one glass. I'm just having a glass. So I don't know how that'll go, but big shout out for the last show. The last couple of shows have been really dope. There's been a lot of people that showed up, and I'm grateful across the board. Like my lives are integrating. So I have TikTok people that are now coming to my Podbean and Podbean people. I mean, everybody's just it's kind of dope. For me, it is anyway. So it's kind of dope to have groupies. So I appreciate everybody who shows up. I'm really grateful that you spend time with me. It makes me feel special. So I saw a video as always, and I thought we'd talk about what a good woman is. Because there's been a lot of things that have happened over the last probably 3 months, honestly, maybe longer, but like really happened over the last 3 months. And a lot of healing. And y'all know that I, talk a lot about healing and whatnot. And I mean, a shit ton. I've been having a shit ton of revelations, like just shit that I've had to address, like that I, as a woman, had to address, right? I'm trying to get my camera right, you guys. I apologize. But might be this part. But one of the things is, and Gilly brought this up, and I can't ever see who's on the show, and I can't comment in the comments, but if you're here, like the show, share the shit out of the show, subscribe, all of those things. But anyway, Gilly asked me what it looked like for me to be healed. What did that look like? What did it physically look like, spiritually look like, relationship? I mean, like, what does it look like? Why I didn't have nothing to say to her. If she'd have been looking at me, I would have been looking at her like a deer in headlights. Like, for real. I didn't have an answer because I didn't, and I thought, and I said it, it's probably why I'm not manifesting my perfect life right now, because I can't even see it. I couldn't even answer the question what it looked like. I mean, I kind of have an idea, but when I thought about it, I'm literally sitting there trying to envision this, what does that look like? What does my life look like as I actually want it to be? And then I saw this video, and he was saying that some women think that they're good women because they're attractive and they're loyal. And that in particular, that specific thing, like, I'm not going to cheat on you and I look good, and that makes them a good woman. He was saying that women like that, not all women, but some women are attractive and they are loyal, but they're manipulative. And he named off a few other things that he was saying that they were, right? And one of the things he said was that they try to change a man into being something he's not. And that stuck. And I was like, okay, so what's a good woman now? What's a good woman? Um, I mean, I'm curious to know, especially from the men on the panel, what a good woman is. I would think that it varies, but I could be wrong. But I think that it could vary. So he said a lot of other things. I don't know if Jim was able to do it or if he was able to put it up. Maybe worst case scenario, Jay, we could just put the link in there. So if somebody wanted to actually like take a look or because I don't know if you're gonna be able to put it up, but if you can, but he said a lot of things. He said a lot of things. Oh, he's gonna play it. Jay's so good at this shit. Makes me crazy.
Most men will cheat on a good woman for a hoe and then marry her after a year.
You know what the problem is? A lot of y'all think y'all good women and y'all not. Like y'all think y'all good women just because y'all look good and y'all don't cheat. When in reality, you manipulative as fuck. You got the temper of a 5-year-old. You don't know how to compromise if your life depended on it. You try to change the man into a completely different individual, and 9 times out of 10, it's not for the better. Like you ever stop to think maybe that whole made him
Most
worse?
men
Okay, so he said a whole mouthful. And I can honestly say that in my experience with women, that's been the case. I mean, there have been a lot of women that I hear. This is, and I had to think about this today, but this is what they said. They said, I need him to. I need him to do, or I need him to be this, or I need him to be those things. Let me tell you how I did it. Let me tell you how my mind worked. Because I don't know why I thought this way, but this was my thought process in it all. I would say, I don't want you to change. I guess this is my manipulation to him. I would say, I don't want you to change. I just want you to be either who you say you are or who you've shown yourself to be. Because who sometimes people say they are and who they end up showing themselves to be, integrity. This has been a kind of a theme the last couple of weeks across some platforms for me. But who you say you are has to add up with your actions. And instead of me saying I need you to do these things, what I needed him to be was everything that came out of his fucking mouth. That's what I needed him to be, was everything that he said. And after 20 years, it took me 20 years to figure out that who he had showed me who he was repeatedly, I do hear a lot. I need him to do this, or I need him to do that. Or if he would just listen and do, if he would just understand, even if it is the most superb idea, even if it is for his growth, even if it is for his betterment, it is not up to us as women to find a man to change him to fit what we need for ourselves. That's not the way it works. I don't know what I saw. I don't know what it was on. I could not tell you. I can guess that it was TikTok, but I don't remember, right? What's up? What's going on strolling through? And it was a man, and he was saying that, why is it that I'm watching myself on my other. On purpose. Okay. So I'm sorry. I was distracted. That's my fault. Hold on 1 second. So of course you're just strolling through. Of course you're just strolling through. Of course. But anyway, I saw this. We're just gonna say it was TikTok, and he was like, why is it always that the man has to remember to put the seat down? They have to have the seat up. Most men, they have to have the seat up. We have to have the seat down. Why can't we remember to put the seat, down? Why can't we remember to put the seat down? Like vice versa. When the men walk to the toilet, most of them have to put the seat up. They have to lift the seat up to use it. So they're saying, why don't you just, why does it have to be that the men are the only ones responsible for the seat? That's what I'm trying to say, I guess. And that's what he was trying to say, right? And it is the most like simplest and shallowest way that you could say it. But why is it always the men? Why is it always the men that have to do all of these things and we as women don't have to do shit? Why is it that we never have to do anything? Right? I'm never talking about all ever, because I don't want to keep having to say that when I say it. If I say all, I don't mean it. I mean most or some or a lot of. It doesn't matter. It could pertain to anything, but I'm speaking about the particular women or the particular people or the particular men that applies to. So we can clear that up real quick, okay? To them, that's who I'm talking to specifically, who this shit applies to. If it doesn't apply to you, it doesn't fucking apply to you. It's cool. It doesn't apply to everyone. But I was thinking about that, and then I saw this damn video, and I was like, damn, and it is true. Women really do. I have talked to plenty of women who like just flat out said they wanted their man to be something that he wasn't. They'll say like, I'm going to use me as an example. Like I kiss a lot. Like a lot. I love to kiss. I mean, I just absolutely love kissing. And like old school makeout kissing and everything. I love to kiss. It is what it is. I'm aggressively affectionate. It would be absolutely ridiculous for me to choose a man who wasn't capable of accepting the kisses or giving them back. Like it wouldn't work. And so I come into the relationship as a woman. I know that you don't like to kiss a lot, but I make you kiss me all the time. So I'm forcing you to change a behavior to suit me. It's very rare that you hear, at least for me, I could be wrong. If so, I digress, but I don't think so. But it's very rare that you hear a conversation about a woman coming into a relationship and having to change something. Like, he sat down with me and he told me that, he don't like me, I don't know, say wearing short shorts with my ass hanging out. Like, he appreciates my body. He ain't got a problem with nothing else I do, but he would just rather me not wear those shorts. And I agreed. That shit don't ever fucking happen. That shit don't ever fucking happen. That shit don't ever happen. You don't hear about a man coming into a relationship and her calling up her girls and be like, yeah, girl, he told me I don't kiss him enough, so I'm going to start kissing him more. He be making me kiss him all the time. That don't happen. That doesn't happen. That shit never fucking happens. I never hear about a man asking a woman to change and her changing. But we be up here just demanding like hell that a man change for us to be something that we need him to be or to fit some structure that we have in order. I don't want to do that. 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 It's not what I want. I have no desire to make someone choose something or, to change or whatever. That's not. But when I listened to this video today, that shit for some reason I really felt what he was saying. Like, I really do see a lot of women trying to change a lot of men, literally change them. Like probably more than a year now, maybe 2 years, probably 3 years. I've been telling my seeds, especially my daughter, that it doesn't matter if you have a vibe or a connection with someone. It doesn't matter if you have trauma bonded with them. It doesn't matter if you guys, are just really cool together. That doesn't mean that you're supposed to be together. Doesn't mean that you have to start compromising and conforming and changing who you are. Hey, lady, welcome. Changing who you are as an individual person to suit someone. Because if you're not that person, you're not going to be able to maintain that 100% all of the time. You're just not going to be able to, right? And again, I'm not speaking of every single relationship, but I don't understand I don't understand that aspect. This is why I'm so patient. This is why I have studied and researched literally, and, take into account just about everything I can take into account. And I'm just reading the comments. So when I lost my train of thought, like for real, I did. So I'm sure if anything needs to get rectified, it would. That's all I'm gonna say. So did I mention that I had been through a shit ton of healing in the last few weeks? Like, I've been learning to be very peaceful in certain situations that have come up, and it's been very challenging for me to do so. And I know I'm going off kilter, but I've been following this group on TikTok called The Collective. They're not a huge group, but it's just like really dope ass people, and they're all kind of really doing dope ass shit. But it's a connecting thing, but and a number thing, but it's more about the connections. Anyway, it ends up that everybody is on this like healing level in their life. Like, they truly are at a place where they're healing and growing, or there's a lot of people on there that are healed as well. It's just a really neat community. Anyway, I don't know what we think of them, but I really want to shout out to them, because they came, like I said, they came on my Sunday night Podbean, and I'm grateful for that. So a lot of people from there came over to the, and they're on live right now. I know that for a fact, or they would be here as well. Like, that's just how they are. They would show up. So, but they go live at 7, and they usually go about 3 hours. So, and they've been doing that now for a while. Anywho, back to the show. So I'm watching this freaking video, right? And he's talking about these, and I'm like, okay, well, what is a good woman? And do I know women like that? Do I know women that would say, I'm loyal and I look good, so okay, so I got a little attitude. I hear that shit a lot. I ain't gonna lie. Or, I got a mouth on me, but shit, I do this and I do that, which leads me to believing that what she's saying is she needs him to compromise. Like, she needs to compromise. He needs to compromise with her and allow certain behaviors because she has other certain qualities. I don't know how that's okay. And I'm talking about for the women. Like, why wouldn't you hold yourself accountable for your behavior? And if you were really in love with yourself and in love with the man that you were with, why wouldn't you choose to be the best version of yourself and allow him to be exactly who he is? I'll tell you why. Because you didn't know who you were, so you picked somebody who you thought you were and tried to make him into something that he wasn't because you didn't know where you were and what you were doing. Y'all heard what I said? What's up, Scom TV? What's going on? What's going on? Thanks for coming. And I want to talk about a good woman is. What do you guys think a good woman is? In this video, it's the guy says some women think that if they're attractive and loyal, that makes them a good woman. That makes them a good catch, but that they end up being manipulative. He said they have a temper of a 5-year-old. Baby, I have witnessed that. I have witnessed women with a temper with a 5-year-old. I have witnessed men like that. I was in a very short-lived relationship 3 years ago. Whoo, and that man, boy, I'm talking about slamming doors, stomping feet, literally slamming doors and stomping feet. Like, and I don't mean just like slamming the door one time. I'm talking about like just literally a child. So I've seen it, but again, I'm talking to women. I'm a woman, so that's who I can speak on. I can't speak on the men, but that they have tempers like 5-year-olds. And my bad, I have no idea what happened. Are you talking? So the conversation tonight is what a good woman is, because I've definitely seen where there have been women that I have dealt with or talked to who thought that because they carried 1 and 2 characteristics, let's say out of 3 out of 10, that made them a good woman and that everything else could slide. So, Soul Amun Ra, welcome to the show. You're on mute, by the way. Hello?
Hello?
Soul Amun Ra, welcome to the show.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, sir.
Right on.
Welcome. How are you?
Oh, I'm fair for a square, cool for a fool. You know me.
Yeah, I know you.
Yeah, I'm all right. Life is good. I'm thankful.
Very good. Very good. I'm glad to hear it. It's good to see your face. Kinda.
I've been trying to log in, but what's the topic? You talking about a good woman?
Yeah, there was a video Jay put up earlier. You missed it, and it was basically a man talking about, that women think that because they're attractive and they're loyal, that makes them a good woman. But then they turn around and they're manipulative and they have a temper of a 5-year-old. And he called them out on a couple of other behaviors. So I thought we'd have a conversation about what does qualify, I guess, what things. I know that each man has a different, but like just innately what makes an actual good woman.
Is that a question?
I mean, absolutely, it's a question. Yeah, I mean, you're here now, so I mean, I was asking the men in the chat earlier to, chat, but here you are. I mean,
Yeah. What the man say?
they haven't. So
Oh.
this is why I'm kind of glad maybe you'll instigate them to chime in and say some You know,
Nah,
you
you
have
know,
the floor, so Amir Ra, you have the floor.
okay, I can dig it. But no, when I think of a good woman, like to keep it simple, I'd say you. And this is not like token flattery or trying to blow smoke up your ass. I'm saying, in particularly, a woman who heals in public, who is unafraid to be vulnerable, yet strong, and a woman who understands her assignment in relation to a man. You can have any kind of body type. I mean, it's all of that shit is trivial. But when you boil that shit down in the pot and get to the residue, it's you. It's a woman who knows that she's a woman, who takes pride in her femininity, and who understands her assignment. You know what I'm saying? Her divine assignment. Shit ain't got to be complicated.
Wow. Okay. So, not really sure what to say to that. Um,
Nah,
wow.
you just
And
be it. You ain't got to. Right? I'm just
thank
saying,
you.
like to keep it simple. I like simplicity. Like I like living examples. I don't like to. I don't want to talk about Alice in Wonderland when I can, tell you about a real person who does real things. That's just me though.
Well, I appreciate your words. Absolutely, I do. I appreciate you showing up. We've missed you on the show the last few weeks.
Yeah, I felt ostracized for a minute, but I'm back now.
Well, I'm glad you have a lot to say and it's very relevant. So I'm glad you showed up. And see, I think that a lot of women say, that they have like I was saying earlier, like 3 or 4 out of 10 qualities say, and then that makes them a good woman. And then they just say because I'm this, that they want then to um, allow the bad behaviors. But the other thing that he said in the video is that women try to make men be somebody that they're just not who they are. I say in my experience with women, I can see that. I have many of friends and relatives and that have said, I need him to do this so that I can be happy, or I need him to do this so that we can do this, right? And to me, that's telling a man he has to be something that he's not, like this guy's saying. And I see it a lot. Like I run across that a lot. I hear that a lot. That was the other question posed to the men. Like, do women? I see it with the women. I know that it happens. And is that how y'all feel about it? Like, with that even the slightest thing that we're trying to change you, because that's the way I view it.
Is that a question?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I don't like. I don't know. Someone
What?
I know women who
Right.
try to change, man. I know a lot of women who do.
As a prerequisite for
But
their happiness, right? Like you have to change for them to be happy.
yeah, and then and then the happiness will be short lived because resentments will set in on the beloved's behalf. You know.
I agree. I agree, absolutely. And that's why I think people should be patient and wait. Like if what you deem as a good woman looks a certain way, and what you deem as a good man looks a certain way, or just a man in general that's for you, why wouldn't you wait? I think a lot of women do it. I think there's more women that do it that know. I said earlier, you weren't on the show. I said you never hear you always hear that a man gets in a relationship and the woman wants him to stop doing this or do that or do more of this or do less of that. But you never hear women like, oh yeah, girl, you know, he told me that, like, I use the example, he didn't want me to wear my shorts with my ass hanging out. That's it. He said everything else about me is okay. And so I'm not going to wear them no more. You don't hear women doing that shit. Men don't most men don't come into a relationship and start spouting off demands, and you need to change, and you need to be this way, and you need to be that way. So, but I think a lot of women do that shit. I think it's the majority of relationship that happens in. And I think there's probably men that, like you said, will start the behavior or maybe try to engage with the behavior, but they're not going to be able to maintain it. And no matter what, somebody is going to run right back around and it cyclically and come back to that same space where she's asking him not to have this behavior, but it's a behavior that he has. And so he's picked a woman that's not necessarily a bad woman, but here she is trying to create something for herself to make her happy. I'm just wondering what a good woman is, if it's the same collectively. I know it's not absolutely the same.
No,
It's similar for men.
Not a collective. No, that's not collective. Yeah, that's individualized. But there is a principle. Like, that's why I mentioned you, like the principle. She can have whatever different body, body type, face, whatever, model, average, whatever, ugly, cute, whatever. However she show up, she show up. But the principle of a good woman, I say, is a woman who can heal publicly, which that's your campaign. I dig that. Because in an interpersonal relationship, I want a woman who can be vulnerable to say, look, these are my scars. When you say this or act this way, it rubs me this way and it triggers. Like, I want a woman who is so self-aware that she can communicate her sensitivity, her womanhood.
I appreciate that.
And a woman who thinks man first. You think man first. You pro man.
I am definitely pro man.
Yeah.
I'm definitely pro man.
and on the interpersonal side, that's very important. A man wants to feel, it ain't nothing like when you got a woman who is like your biggest cheerleader, like who literally cares about your moves, how you make your moves, you know. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I just get to the principle. I don't. The other stuff is, whatever. But there's a principle when you talk about a good woman. Just like if you was to reverse the question and ask, what's a good man? There is a universal, thing that makes a man a good man. There are certain qualities that are across the board. Like, he's going to do this, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Bam. He's a good man.
Right.
There are descriptions. So I like to deal with the residue, boil it down to what's essential. And what's essential for a good woman is, to be good to herself.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that she can heal publicly. Which means that she will do the work to make herself the best version of herself. And then that love is transferred, that overflow goes to her guy. And the energy in which she is goes to her guy. The
Agreed.
woman she has built herself to be goes to that guy. Like, that's the reward. But yeah, I just like to deal with the principles, babe. That's all.
Yeah. Very well said. And I think now that you're saying that, I'm wondering if women have different concepts, and I know, again, not universal, I get it, not collective, I get it. But if women have different versions of what a good man, and I don't mean the standard social ones, but like when you're speaking of a good woman, you are speaking on the deepest level of who she is, you know. So I think that we talk about good men and women now as superficial, like somebody put a post today, like, why do women like tall men? And literally there was like 120 comments, and there was like one that said, who cares? And every other one was like, oh, he gotta be tall. I can't submit to a short man. I mean, just like
Right. Right.
crazy ideas, but everybody really did say like the man has to be tall.
Right.
Like, I don't personally think, I know that I'm not saying that men don't want somebody aesthetically pleasing, but I feel like especially healed men, they are beyond that type of shallow, list, if you will. And women are still riding the shallow list and then wondering why they have shallow relationships with men, because you shallowly chose him. You chose him based on some shallow shit instead of some deep-seated shit, and so now you're just, you're in the middle of a toxic relationship because you want him to be something he's not. And the thing is, the shallow version of them is probably everything they want. And maybe that's the problem. They think that the shallowest version of themselves is enough to sustain a relationship. But it can't. And oh, real quick, Seven's here. Hi, Seven. Where you been? It's good to see you. I think I hit everybody else that came on already. So, hey, Jay, you think you can do the video again, since there's more people on here so they can see the video? Don't go nowhere, Soul. You can watch the videos. Jay's going to show the video.
I'm there.
Huh? I think he is, maybe. Or maybe not. When it pops up, it'll pop up if he hears me, and he's gonna be able to do it. It might take a second for him to redo it, but because he said more in it. Oh, here he goes. Yeah, one more time.
Most men will cheat on a good woman for a hoe and then marry her after a year.
You know what the problem is? A lot of y'all think y'all good women and y'all not. Like y'all think y'all good women just because y'all look good and y'all don't cheat. When in reality, you manipulative as fuck. You got the temper of a 5-year-old. You don't know how to compromise if your life depended on it. You try to change the man into a completely different individual, and 9 times out of 10, it's not for the better. Like, you ever stop to think maybe that hoe made him?
Most men.
Oh.
Yeah. So via the show tonight, like what really is, a good woman? Because apparently, per him, women think they're good, and they're not. They're not good women. With the accountability that you have to hold over your own self to really become the woman that you're choosing to become, is a very challenging place to be. And I don't know that, I didn't think about it in this way, but I would say that the reason that most women aren't receptive to men is because they're not receptive to themselves. Like, they won't even listen to themselves tell them that, good and damn hell well, that's some badass behavior, and you ain't got no business acting like that, right?
Yeah.
And then in the next breath be like, girl, he love that shit. It's cute. Whatever, whatever dialogue they have that makes it okay with them, right? Or they're, like, fuck you, bitch, I'll do what I want kind of dialogue, So I had someone yesterday was very upset with me, and he kept saying to me, "I'm not being receptive." And in my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, honestly, I'm not being braggadocious, but in my head, I'm thinking I'm the most receptive person I know. Like in my circle, I'm the most receptive person I know. Like I will listen to if someone is challenging me, I will listen to them. I will listen and say, okay, let me, see if that's the case. But I was being receptive. I understood. I comprehended. I expressed that. But I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I don't think a lot of women now are receptive or teachable. I don't think they're teachable either. I don't think they want to learn. And if they did want to learn, I don't think they want to learn from a man. So I don't know who they want to learn from how to be a good woman. If they won't hold themselves accountable to become good women and share the love of becoming, then how are we supposed to know what a good woman looks like? We got to listen to somebody. If we don't want to listen to the women and we don't want to listen to the men, and we're not going to listen to ourselves, then we have all these stagnant ass, masculine ass women going around talking about, I'm a good fucking woman because A, B, but they forgot the rest of the alphabet.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the principles in which I defined a good woman was one who can heal publicly. You see what I'm saying? That's the power of that. Yeah, I'll do the Black Russian. Yeah, but that's the power of that demonstration. Like, because it not only does it enrich the person who is doing the public healing, it provides an example for people who need that example.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why you're so powerful. So keep doing what you're doing, homegirl. Like shit.
Well, I appreciate all your kind words, Solam and Ra.
No, I just speak the truth.
Mm-hmm.
By
You
which I know.
do. You are a truthful man. If nothing else, you are truly an honest man. I will say that about you. If something comes out of your mouth, you can best believe it's damn truth.
Thank you, brother. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. So is Seven going to come up and talk to us about a good woman? I'm curious as to what he would say. I remember I did a podcast, and I've probably talked about this. I didn't do the podcast. I was a guest on someone else's podcast, and he had a big panel with his podcast, and it came up about the letter. Sevens heard the letter, souls heard the letter. I wrote a letter to myself from my, what would be the man, what would the man that loved me right now say to me? And I wrote a letter to myself. And then the letter had to be read back to myself as if I was saying it to myself. And so anyway, I have had these conversations for that happened a year and a half ago, at least, maybe even longer. And I've had this conversation since the letter because it was so powerful to me. And so I had this conversation when it first happened, and that host said there was a guy that another podcast host guy that they just would instigate to me at the time. He was a devout Christian, and he had a crush on me. It was evident that he had a crush on me. And so the host of the show, knowing good and damn hell well, told him to write a letter to see what it would look like for, to challenge him to do the same letter is what I was going to say. And then he gave us a time frame, and we all came back on the show, right? We all came back on the show with our letters. I had never read my letter before, except for to Gilly. And I read my letter, right? And then he read his letter. And this isn't funny, and this is not nice, but I'm just making a point. I'm making a point about what people deem. His whole, no disrespect to anybody, I'm just speaking factual. His whole entire letter what it was supposed to be, what the person, like a woman that was in love with him, what she would say to him. But his letter was about how he wanted her to, how their relationship would be just strictly about God. Like and her faith in religion. Like it didn't apply to anything else. It didn't say anything about how they loved each other. It didn't say anything about himself, like his good qualities or anything like that, which I thought personally was sad that he read. But you know what? Now that I'm saying this, I'm going to switch the whole subject out. I've run across a lot of men lately, like in conversation, social media, things like that, that seem very healed and evolved and very, elevated. That they're on a high vibration and they're really fucking hard on themselves. Like they really, really are hard on themselves, truly. And I've been very surprised lately at the men that are hard on themselves like that. I've been very surprised by the men that have said stuff to me that, and I thought, why would you say that? Like, it's absurd. Like some of the stuff isn't even factual. Like in real life, it's not even factual. To them, it might feel factual, but it's not. And again, to me, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to go back to this. I think I'm just going to keep speaking on this until I figure it out myself so that I can understand it. And me and Soul, you and I had this conversation about a woman being nurturing to a man is not a mama quality. I think we think when a woman wants to nurture a man because our energies are so discombobulated and we've not grown, most of us generationally have not come up in the structure that we needed to come up in. We're so confused and discombobulated, and we're not nurturing the men, and the men can't even be receptive to the nurturing because they feel like it's a mama thing and that we're trying to mother them. But the reality is that all men, we're nurturers for a reason. That's not a mother thing. That's a woman thing. That's a woman. We are here to nurture. We're supposed to be nurturing men. And there's so many men up now saying, the relationships with their mother are broken and the things that their mother went through and what not good childhoods they have. Okay, so if their mother's not able to heal them and not able to nurture them, then who is next? Us. We have to be the ones to nurture the men. We have to. That's what we're designed to do, is to nurture. And we can't even do that. And maybe that's what we should focus on instead of all this other. I'm not saying you don't need your feminine energy, and I'm not saying that you don't need, but if we want to contribute to men healing, like really truly healing, instead of contribute to the bullshit, then maybe we should find a way to be more nurturing to ourselves and to the men in our lives, regardless of who that is. I mean, I know that certain people think certain things about me, but I don't care. Y'all can take it however you want to. I love on every man that I am around, even if it's just for a second. Like, I show him love. I submit as I can. It's not about him. It's about me and who I am as a woman. I'm not doing anything for another. I'm not doing nothing for no man. Okay, don't. But start doing that shit for yourself. Start being who you are. So here's my story about that. The short version. My mom is not a healed woman. And she has repeatedly said things that under any other circumstances would have ended differently when it came to my seeds. That's all I'm going to say about that version of it, okay? I communicate with my mother. She is definitely has solid narcissistic tendencies. She's never been diagnosed with any disorder, but she is definitely right up there. She is very challenging to be around and deal with a lot of times, but she will give you the shirt off her back, and she would just be as sweet as she can be to y'all, just not to me. So, um, I'm in my mother's life because of the person that I am. Because all of my seeds have asked me why I continue a relationship with my mother when she is as horrible as she is to me. And my answer to them is just this: I am who I am. I am who I am. I am aware of my mother's past. I'm aware of my mother's reluctancy to evolve. I'm aware of my mother's flat out, denial of her any accountability in her life. I'm aware of her bitterness and I understand her pain. I do not care for the way that she sometimes speaks to me and some of the things that she says. But I am fully aware of who she is and how she moves. It is not a secret to me. And I still choose to keep her in my life because I am the only child, and she is my mother at the end of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is an obligated. It is completely an obligated relationship, and I love my mother. But it's who I am, and I say that to say, especially for the women who are screaming that they're a good woman, then they need to show up as a good woman in front of every man that they can show up in front of one. Because at the end of the day, maybe not at the time that you meet them, but every man is worthy. Every man is worthy. Maybe not at the time that you meet them, but every man is worthy. Every man is relevant, whether it is good or bad. And that's a reality as well too. But at the end of the day, us women keep going around, and I said this on my other show the other day, and I want to reiterate it here. I realized myself what I had done with the 3 men who I had just absolutely loved in my life, in my last 7 years since I've been free. I came to the conclusion the other day, and I was very aware of the fact that I had chosen all 3 of them. I chose them. I knew what I was doing when I walked into those relationships, and how could I stand here now and fault them for me going in with my eyes wide open? And I had to say, what do they say? What's the denominator? Is that what they say? What's the main denominator or the common denominator? It was me. So what did that look like for me? What was I doing? Why was I doing it? And where was it coming from? Why was I self-sabotaging with impossible relationships? Why would I do that? And that's me holding myself accountable. Listen, yesterday, all I wanted to do was go to bed so yesterday would be over. Like, I went through it yesterday. Yeah, I went through it yesterday. Literally went through it. Like the healing, like I said, that's going on. And I personally want to become a really good woman. I truly want to become a really good woman. I want to know what that looks like, what it feels like, what it tastes like, what it sounds like. That's what I want to be, the essence, everything about me. When I am talked about, when I am gone, when they talk about, they G mama, when my great grandbabies talk about they great G mama, or whatever they're gonna call me, I want the sentence to end that she was a good woman. I'm allowed to have those thoughts and those ideas about myself. I'm allowed to feel that way. I'm allowed to want those things. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Oh yeah, excuse me. I got to get going. I got a message from Jay about I don't know. I don't know. But anyhow, I got to get going. I got to get into this establishment and do my thing. But it was good talking to you.
You as well.
Yeah, I'll be in touch.
All right. So
Audience, be safe. Blessings.
Thank you. Bye. Well, that was nice and unexpected. So I don't know what happened, but hopefully nothing terrible. Oh, he probably just saw that message from earlier, Jay. You know, it's always a problem getting him on the show. So, Seven, what are you doing? How come you haven't come up here and said hello to me? I don't even know if he's still on. Y'all know I can't see anything, right? Y'all don't know I can see who's in the when y'all make a comment. That's the only time I know what's going on. Like legitimately. So, and of course, I probably don't say it enough. Let me say this. Let me stop. I haven't said it in a minute. So, everybody like the show. Everybody that's here, make sure you like the button. Like. Subscribe so that you always know all the podcasts that Jay has. I honestly can't even keep up sometimes. I do my best, even if I have to just plow in there and plow out. That's what I do. But, and share the shit out of the show. So like, subscribe, and share the shit out of the show. And Jay, because he's so sweet to me, put up my Podbean link in there. I'm also blowing up on TikTok now. Who knew? In Love with Kimberly Michael on TikTok. Come check me out, and then check out the group that I'm into, especially if you want to be in like a dope ass community. And like, you know, we really do work on like numbers and followings and stuff like that as well too. But we're working on like quality followers. Like that's the whole idea of the collective movement on TikTok. And, you know, like Sunday night, they surprised me. We were all on live and I was like, you know, I gotta go do my podcast. And they were like, we're going too. So the host stayed on TikTok and turned me on live from Podbean on TikTok, which I thought was dope as shit. And then like 6 or 7 people came over, and then a whole bunch of other people came over, and a bunch of people jumped on and actually talked. Like it was really dope. So, and like I said, it probably would have happened here if it was a different time frame for this show. It probably would have happened. They would have, you know, jumped over here and, you know, had a conversation with me. So anyway, I'm actually, I guess because I haven't had a sip in a while or whatever, but I don't know about y'all, but I think we kind of covered what a good woman is. Like, what do I say to what Soul says? Like, how do y'all feel about that? 7, or if you're, I can't see comments, so they pop up like, I don't know how late or early or whatever, but I would love another man. Jay, even you, like, what do you think about what he said? Not about me, but even though he used me, which is whatever. What do you think, Jay? What do you think, 7? I'm just curious. And I mean, I know he said he wasn't being some kind of way, but I'm sure that he was, because you and I both know there's not a lot of men honestly, there's not a lot of men who would want their woman to be publicly sharing. I don't share intimate stuff with people, but I'm just saying, nonetheless, they wouldn't necessarily want a woman who was healing publicly. They wouldn't want somebody to be transparent and be with a woman who is telling people about, you know, her childhood and her abuse and that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? And being transparent, and especially me, you know, I know it might not sound healing to some people, but I speak about my polyamorous life on TikTok. But again, I'm there to be out there because I know that I don't want to say shunned, but you know, I'm treated some type of way. Check out Kim on Jay's so dope. He's so dope. Yeah, check me out on TikTok though, for real. Like real talk. I just got on TikTok a few months ago. I'm just gonna be honest, like maybe 4 months ago. And when I first got on, it wasn't my intention to stay on. I got on, I was venting about my protection order and that my ex had violated, and I wanted to get help. Because I was out of the state, and I couldn't get the states to communicate. I couldn't report him basically. And I reported him in the state I was in, and it was a big mess. And so that's kind of how it started, kinda. And then I did like, you know, maybe 4 or 5 videos. And then a few months ago, I just got on there and did a couple of things. And then I got inspired by a poet, actually Soul Amin Ra. He does a lot of spoken word, and it's amazing. Like his work is brilliant. and I loved it. And before I ever met him, I know y'all don't know this story, but I'm going to tell you, before I ever met him, I followed him on TikTok. Because his work, he does like really sensual stuff, right? But he does stories too. Like he'll tell a story, but he does really sensual art. He paints really sensual art, and he does really sensual spoken word. It's very sensual. And I write sensual poetry. And so I was like, wow, this dude, kind of writes like me, right? And so I started following him, and I had saved some of his videos to Stitch. And that's how we ended up. He jumped in my inbox one day, and that's how we ended up being friends. So, but I say all that to say, I am definitely surrounded. I said this to one guy today. He got very upset with me, and I don't know if he was playing or what, but he's a friend of mine. He's a very kind man. We're just friends, but, he made the comment about me talking, because I say my lovers, I'll say my lovers, or, whatever. And, he made the comment about me saying that. And I said, can we not pretend as if, first of all, that it matters? Like, what does it matter? I'm talking to you, right? And I don't know. I've been getting it a lot lately, because I've just been I've changed my verbiage again. I remember one of my best friends, when I started saying queen. This was a long time ago, you guys. I started saying queen, and she was like, "Why are you saying queen now?" And so I told her the story, and she was like, "Okay." And I was like, "I'm just different." I said, "I'll probably change my verbiage from that to something else too. Who knows? Like I don't know I don't know who I am or what I am." I had just left my 20-year relationship, and I wasn't a good woman at all. There wasn't anything really, honestly, good about me. And that's the truth. Like, what little goodness was left in me was like so repressed, I guess is a good word. I wasn't a good woman, and it's taken 7 years to get close to being a good woman. And I have to agree with Soul, and not because I love the shit out of him, but I worked hard to become a good woman. And I think that we as women need to collectively, and I've said this before, start making a shift in our behaviors. We need to take a responsibility for ourselves, hold ourselves accountable, and start acting like we should. Embrace the fact that we're nurturers and nurture the men. Embrace the fact that we're feminine and listen, just because you carry these energies doesn't mean you still can't be exactly who you are. Because all this talk about energies and all of these things, at the end of the day, check your behavior. Check your ass. That's the behavior. That's the problem. It's not your wound. It's not your trauma. It's not your healing. It's your behavior that's the problem. It's the behavior. It's all of it. Nobody wants to get cussed out every day. Like I said, I was telling my friend something yesterday, a friend of mine, and I mean, he was literally like, so I said, why are you so upset? Like, why are you so upset? Why are you upset? Like, I didn't understand. And he was like, was not screaming, but his voice was raised and he was cursing. And I was like, why? I'm not upset. You're just assuming I'm upset. You're creating the fact that I'm upset. And I was like, you're definitely like screaming and cursing. I'm definitely feeling like you're upset. And I don't understand. I don't understand why. That's bad behavior. Like, if you're just having a conversation with a friend and you're pissed off because of what? Why are you mad? We're friends having a conversation. I'm telling you how I feel. You don't agree with it, and that makes you angry? Us disagreeing should not make you so angry that you have to raise your voice and curse at me or at anybody else for that matter. It's that type of behavior. You shouldn't be manipulating. Shouldn't be trying to change someone to be something that they're not. Those are bad behaviors. Shouldn't be cussing out anybody, but you, especially the person that you're with. You shouldn't be treating them like that. You shouldn't be, I'm probably going to get hell for this, but I mean, you shouldn't be loving up on your man and then shaking your ass in a fucking club on another dude. Like, there's just certain behaviors that aren't okay. And then be like, well, I was just at the club and we were just having fun and he don't mean nothing. Whatever. Okay, I probably shouldn't use that as a good example because I'm speaking at a much different level. I really am speaking about behaviors, about manipulation and disrespect, not holding yourself accountable. I mean, men just don't want to go through that shit. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Most men just want peace, whatever that looks like. They're going to pick the woman that brings the most peace to them. That's my personal opinion. My personal opinion is that. So, just about all of my male friends and the men that I've encountered, and because I've had actual conversations with them. I just meet them. Hey, how you doing? I have deep ass conversations with them. I want to know shit. Seven will tell you. Me and Seven have had many conversations. Man, he's gotten people on the phone 3-way with me. We about all on there damn near crying and shit. People praying and all kinds of good shit happening. You know, like deep shit, like going deep down into shit, right? I don't know, women. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm a good woman and that I am going to manifest an even better woman and that I am going to work on the behaviors that I need to address that are not conducive with being a peaceful, sweet, kind, feminine woman. You know, I'm going to continue to heal. I'm going to continue to grow and become. And it's very uncomfortable, but I'm holding the women in my life accountable just as they hold me accountable. You don't think that my daughter and Gilly don't call me and give me the shit like, oh, I said something to Gilly last night. And there was a long pause before she answered me. And then she said, where have you been? Like I just got it. Like she'd seen it for the last couple of years that it had been happening. It was a cycle I was in. I'm still in it. I just thank God I'm aware right now tonight that I've literally just become aware that I'm in this cycle like yesterday, like what that looks like, what it actually looks like. I've become aware of what I was doing and how I was doing it. I have not figured out the why of it all yet. I mean, I partly, but not solely. So anyway, yeah, and she was like, oh, like, have you met you? Kind of conversation. Like, did you just show up? But anyway, so thank everybody for showing up. Thanks, Soul, for getting on the live. I appreciate that very much so. It was very nice of him to do so. I'm glad that we can, you know, be on here and have a conversation. Actually, thanks to Lady and Seven and Scum and just scrolling through, but he's probably already scrolled out too, but that's fine. And a big shout out to Jay for doing the most, literally doing the most. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. You know, to all my men, I believe in you and I love you. You're needed and valuable, important and relevant. And Jay put my TikTok in there. He put my Podbean in there. You know that we're here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. We've done pretty good too. We've only missed a couple of nights and it was some really heavy shit the nights we missed. So I'm pretty proud of us. We've been pretty consistent on here. Podbeans on Sunday night, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. And I'm on TikTok randomly. I haven't gone live on my live. I've just been on another live. I have not de-virginized myself there yet, but I do have over 2,000 followers and over 11,000 likes. And some of my videos have like 7,000 views. So that's kind of dope. And it's a new thing for me. So y'all go check me out and show me some fucking love. And, you know, thanks for showing up and come back and see me every week here. And again, subscribe, like, and share, even on the way out. Follow Jay. He's got a ton of podcasts with a ton of great people and a ton of great content. And he, even at his worst, he's at his best for me. So I appreciate him and I'm grateful. Y'all stay embedded in gratitude, and I'll see you guys next time. Good night.